All right, so welcome to the Made in Chafford podcast, episode 79. No, you got it wrong there, but 79, 79. We're in the building, episode 79. So, all right, boys, you know what time it is. Just introduce yourself. Obviously, we've got a special guest in the building. Big up yourself, Harley. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. But,
Thanks for having me.
yeah, boys, introduce yourself.
Cool. Cole Sanusi, Big 2L in the building. Back for another week. Let's get cracking. Let's get cracking.
Emmanuel's in his own building, but we're all right. We're all good. What's going on, people?
Love that. And Harley, tell the people.
I'm Harley Adriana. I'm involved in Abstract Records. We're gonna have a good little chat today, I think, about music and stuff in general.
We're gonna properly get into it. So, all right, Harley. So I guess we always like to start with our guests and what they've been up to and what they've been doing. You work and you are part of you're part of Abstract Radio, which we've been following your movements for a while, and so we've been wanting to make this collab happen for a minute. So I'm kind of glad that we finally been able to do it. Just for the people who don't know, give a little insight into what Abstract Radio is.
We started as Abstract Radio like about 5 years, and its like initial was probably about 5 years ago. Originally it was like at the time when I guess like DJ collectives and that kind of like that selection, that kind of thing was starting to come up, and that's kind of what we were into. It's like putting on nights, putting out mixes, and the culture of like the party culture, I guess, would be a good way of calling it, but it's not so like clubby, like the house stuff. It's more like the R&B side of stuff, that's lead fusion, all that kind of stuff. More so that was the initial sort of start of Abstract Radio, and then as the years have progressed, that kind of the nights kind of fizzled out. The wrong word. It reached where it needed to be, and everything had happened like that. And at this time, a few other things had happened that kind of the people. So I run it with myself, and Hayden was like literally my best mate from school. Hayden was the other guy that we used to run it from. I'd known each other for like 15 years. But basically, life happens, and we had to take like a little hiatus from doing all of it. In about 2018, and then, but we still kind of kept involved with, well, at least kept tabs of what was going on, just in case we have to get back into it. Fish out of water kind of thing. And then I'm just trying to think what happened next. So then a couple of years later, sort of life happened again, and we were in a position where we could get back into it. And we originally started doing it as like Abstract Radio, of like putting up mixes, doing like remixes of songs, and it got to a point where we were like, this is kind of not what it used to be. The crowd's not the same. The ones that are already doing it so well established now as well. It's kind of like anything you do, people think you're copying. It's almost not original. So we were like, right, how can we still be involved with this, but different? And then so we came up with the idea of Abstract Records, which is what its current state is. And that's more of like our original vision was kind of be like, oh well, we want to be like a record label, then we'll collate all of this stuff and just put it out. So that way, we're not necessarily doing all of the mixing and all of the sets and all of that. It's we're dealing with the artist, actually. The stuff that we're dealing with anyway, we're actually going direct to them and helping them get to where they need to be. So that was our initial sort of idea of it. That maybe started like 2019, 2020. And we went through it, we're like, this isn't working how we thought it would work. People nowadays, people are kind of a bit wary of record labels, and well, I mean, I always hate saying record labels, but it kind of sounds like you're being a bit pretentious, I guess. Would be a bit, oh, we're a record label, like that kind of
Yeah, I
thing.
get what you're saying.
Because it's like the record labels like UMG or Sony, the big their record labels. You're kind of like, I guess like an imprint or something like that. But people getting wary about it, and they're like, okay, well, let's just take a step back. We reimagined it again, and what we wanted to do. What we found the best approach to take was that we ended up in a sort of consulting position where we're almost like we fill the role of a label in the sense that, like, if an artist needs money to fund a project, or if they need contacts that that we've like developed over the years, like, we're more than happy to do that in this way that a traditional record label would work. But we don't tend to own like the master, so we wouldn't pay for we wouldn't like fund the actual recording of the project or the making of it.
Got you.
Right.
It's more sort of like, oh, you want
Is it more A&R then?
Yeah, I guess it's kind of like that, because a lot of people sort of need an A&R as well, but they don't realise they need an A&R until they're like a little further down the road.
Yeah.
And then yeah, I would say it's more management of label services, and that's where we found that we've been like, we come in, and most people that we work with tend to be not with us for very long, but that was the main goal of it, was like, well, we want to get you, help you get to here, and then when you get to here, you can do
You're free to do what you want.
If you want to keep us, great, we'll stay on as a manager or whatever, like that's great. But for us, it's not about like making millions off of one hit record. It's kind of like, it's quite a good way of looking at it, is like we are trying to develop the artist to take it a little bit further, to get them to a point. And some people really like that. Some people get really weird about it, especially in like independent artists. We've had a couple. We were like, look, our main goal would be to sort of sign to someone else that isn't us, but can get it is bigger, so that you can get more of an audience. But we want to facilitate that to get you there. So I guess it's kind of like an introductory label is a good way of putting it.
Yeah, I guess it's interesting because a lot of people need a lot of new artists that come out, independent artists. They come into the game, and you can see there's talent there, but they don't have someone guiding them, and that seems like what you guys want to do. Even to the point that it's really interesting that you were even a bit like, there's when you get to that certain position where you feel like you might not need us anymore, you guys are actually happy to take a step back and be like, all right, within your career, we've done what we can, if that makes sense. We've assisted you up to this point, and you're more or less good to go after that.
Yeah, and it's kind of that was the approach that we wanted, because it's like, who am I? It's okay if we were managing an artist, who would we be if we got annoyed that Sony or like one of the big three wanted to sign them? Like that's not good for us. If that's what you want, like great, go for it. I can't compete with that. I can't press 12 million records and get it like set out. Like, you do that. That's fine if that's what you want. Like, and that's what you should be doing. And we're really selective with who we work with at the moment. Importantly, it's like we want to be fans of who we work with.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
And that's sort of been the main mission from like day one. It's been like, would I listen to this person on my own? Not, are they going to make me money? Or can I do anything with them? It's like, would I be a fan of this person if I've never found them?
It's almost like you're like, so it's almost like you're like removing the negative connotations that are attributed to a record label, because people forget that at the end of the day, it is a business model. They will sign millions of artists in a year, and half of them might not even put a record out, whereby, okay, your situation is smaller, but it's more intimate. You can actually have the conversation. You actually listen to the artist's music, and you can actually guide them. So I think what you've done is you should be proud of yourself, because obviously I found Abstract Radio at the beginning of its foundation. I remember being in uni and just looking for like OVO radio, looking for selection, and I think I just randomly came across one of your mixes. And I think from developing where you are from then to now, I think it's a really positive thing.
Yeah, cool. No, I appreciate that. I think it's just like a different, like, you can't, I mean, I don't know, you probably can. I wouldn't want to have been putting on like doing DJ mixes every week for the rest of my life doing it. And there's also just like another sides of doing it. Of just, this is a little bit more like my main thing now outside of when I'm not doing the record label stuff is I was just saying before we went on air, is that I do like sound engineering. So I work with like a lot of good music and good like up and coming musicians anyway from all genres. And I think for me that's what it is like I'm a fan of just music in general. So I don't want to just be doing one part of it. I like to be doing I like to be involved with everything else. And I know Hayden, who we run it with, he's the same. He works or he's from his background is like he started off in like tour management and that kind of stuff, and then he's gone on to do like stuff in like big labels, and then we run it with another guy who he came on this year, Seb. He does all like the creative stuff, so any videos that you see that we put out, he like does all of the videos stuff for that. He's like probably one of the best additions that we've had to the team, of like he's with the vision, but he's got like the creativity that skill sets that I can't cover and the same Hayden can't cover. So but again, that the whole point is that we like to work with people that are excited to work with, and they add something to the team or to the vision that someone's like trying to achieve. And that's our main thing.
Yeah, I get that. No, and I really appreciate what you said. I think it's important. I think a lot of people start projects and they don't do it with people that they actually like. Not that they don't like them, but you're actually fans of the people that you're working with. I think that's so important because your investment is going to be so much bigger as well, and actually being truly selective with work. And I think that really probably helps with how you approach artists and stuff like that. And I'm sure from there, and it's easier to work with someone that actually enjoys what you're putting out.
Yeah, generally I find it is. Occasionally we'll get sort of artists who are a bit what's a nice way of putting it? They think they know what they want, and that's fine if you know what you want, but they can be quite like hard-headed about it, so there's no room for movement. I remember I've had a few, not every meeting, every artist that you meet isn't going to be like the one that you work with, and then sometimes it just doesn't work, like personality-wise it doesn't work, or their goals don't line up with what you want. I remember probably the most recent one, this was before the whatever lockdown we're in now, 4th or 5th lockdown, when we were allowed to go to pubs and stuff. We went and met with an artist that I like to this day. She's a lovely girl. I love her music. She wanted to do it all herself, basically, and she was like, I want to take it as far as I can take it for myself, and that's like a perfectly valid thing to do. But it was getting to a point where she was like, if you had a little bit of a team behind you, you can take it further. And she was so adamant that she was going to do it independently, to the point where I think it's like you're almost tricking yourself. And she was like, because we're like, well, we have contacts of A&Rs of like quite a lot of majors, that if that's what you're looking to, we can get you meetings with them, you can get send it over. And she was like, well, I don't want to sign to a major. I just want to be independent forever. God. To the point where it's like, well, yeah, but if someone came to you, if Sony came to you and was like, here's $1 million advance, and what are you going to say no? I would say, when you need to make money to be a working musician and you're on the come up, I think you need to be a little bit realistic and not be so, or at least be flexible in what your approach is. And that's all, like, and I said, okay, well, what about like a big independent then, And she was like, no, I want to do it all on my own. I want to be like, Chance the Rapper was one of the artists that she would always bring up. And I was like, well, to be fair, his most successful album was on Apple Music exclusively when it first dropped, and he got paid.
Now she wanted to be like Chance.
Tell him to get out of it, man. 500,000 he got for doing that. 500,000 he got just for putting it exclusively on Apple. I mean, how independent is
for real.
And she's really blindsided because we are interested in this sort of stuff, so we know that the music industry is a game, and there's a lot of tricks that they try to present to you that it's not the case. Like, I think certain things may have been like done independently, but these people have a team behind them that really push them to the moon. So as much as Gang Signs and Prayers, you know, I think he was independent at that point. There's certain things that Stormzy would have had access to that you being independent, it's just not going to work. Like, it's not going to do you any favors.
For sure. I think that's the key word. It's like, what do you have access to? And that's what we like to always say when we meet people. It's like, we can get you access to like producers or A-laws, or we can get you your music to people. If you want that, that is like, you know, if you want to, or if there's like a really small, like, I don't know, day here or something like that, if you want to speak to someone there, yeah, we can do that for you if that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
But you probably, I mean, you're good, like they're good enough to have that, to have at least maybe be on the radar, but they might not. There's, I think, who was it? I was listening to, like Kenny Beats. He said Major sign like 600 artists a year, like on average. That's between over all of them. So like, there's a lot of noise out there that's getting heard, and yeah, you might be good, but are you being heard by the right people? Maybe not.
That's a fact. Because
you've not got the team behind you.
Do you think it's more a game of, they always say this, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And it seems like the music industry is very much that sort of environment as well.
I think so. And I think there's quite a lot of like artists that, that would, especially recently, I've noticed it more, I think, of like artists that have come from, and me and Hayden talk about this quite a lot. And again, I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing because they are good. But it's definitely like I think Arlo Parks is a really good example of that. She's been releasing music for, I guess, like a couple of years, but she's got like a #1 album when it dropped like last month or whatever. It was in the top, I can't remember what it was. It was trying quite high, but I'd never heard of it before. She's got all this big label support. Apple Music is supporting her. Spotify is supporting her. But not Sony. What label she signed to? I can't remember she signed to, but her label, like, she's got like massive support. And not to say like she's bad. I really like the music. It's just you've come out.
Where did it come from?
That is what we call it. That's what we call it industry flow.
I agree. And again, like, I don't think
we got word for that around here.
I agree, but like that's what I think it's a good point though, isn't it? It's like, is she good enough to? Is she better than, say, the artist I was talking about earlier? Probably not. Not that there's it's hard to compare sort of subjective material, but she's just as good. It's just she knows the right people. She's got a good, her manager's like really obviously well connected, and I do think a lot of it is who you know, especially if you want to make like serious money from it. It does need to be like, who do you know, or at least have a good team behind you.
Okay, so what's the for you the goal for the label? Like, where do you see it? Because is it something like do you see the future or the end goal? Do you see it as something being like a label under a major? What's the goal? And we do speak about this quite a lot. I think I kind of probably speak about too much of them, but I always like to make sure we're all on the same page at some point. And I think for us, it's not necessarily to be bought out. I guess we won't go to the attention of doing that. And again, I think I would be stupid to say if some big massive label came offered to buy us out for X amount of money and the price was right, I think I'd at least consider it. But that's not why we started it. I think the main goal for us is to just literally help support up and coming artists and get the artists where they need to be. For as long as like that's needed, and I don't think it'll be needed forever. I think as the years go on, I think there'll be some sort of, I don't know, you know, like you can DistroKid, you can upload, people can upload it to all the streaming services now, which they couldn't do even like 10 years ago. I think there'll become a point where it's like there'll be like a virtual A&R. So I don't know. I feel like that's where it'll go, and that it'll be all online, or and there won't be really a need for like people like us, because it'll be done. You can do it yourself. Until that day comes, like I feel like I'm just going to keep going with it. I'm not in it to sort of make millions or do that. It's literally just for the love of music, the love of helping helping people get better, get to where they need to go. It is like the chase is almost as good as the goal. It's like getting people where they need to be, getting people gigs booked, or
getting on meetings with people, getting in studio sounds, helping them meet producers that they want to meet, that kind of stuff. Like that is, for me, that's fun. I enjoy doing it, and that's what we enjoy doing.
Yeah. So I guess I've got a double question for you then. So, what's the most exciting moment you've had with the label? Like, has there been a time where you managed to really help an artist achieve a goal that they were looking to achieve? And for you, who's the most exciting person the label's working with at the moment that you're like, yeah, I'm really a fan of this person? I guess you have to say all of them, but
yeah. So let me actually be political about this thing. I think for the most, for me, I'll go for the selfish one. For me, it was I've been working with this band recently. The next, so I'm not based. So the other two people that we went with are based in London. Ordinarily, that's all right. It's not an issue because you can usually go down and do what you need to do. And I'm based in Leicester. So I'm working with a band locally that I sort of found, and yeah, for me, they've just had their record that I worked on quite a bit. Like I was quite involved in. They've just had that like press the final, and that's quite exciting for me. I mean, like if you follow me on Instagram or anything like that, like I love vinyl records and DJ, all that kind of like nerdy audio file stuff. I'm well into it. So like for me, that was like that's when stuff like that happens, when you get the physical thing and you're like, oh wow, you've made this is yours now. Like you've got physical, you've done this, you've got a physical thing, and it's no easy feat. It's like, yeah, right, anyone can upload to SoundCloud or Spotify or Apple Music, like it costs you like a tenner. It's like you've taken the next step to be like, yeah, I want to do this, and I think I've got enough audience to be able to sell a physical thing for that isn't just, it's like material, and you've got an actual thing for your fans. I think that's quite, stuff like that's always exciting for me. Or like when you book people's first gigs and they like kill it, that's like well exciting.
Yeah.
And then at the moment, it's been a bit quiet. Again, just because there's not a lot you can do. We're usually always at gigs and like talking to people. But we're working with like this duo at the minute. We can't like release any personal details at the minute because it's not like coming to fruition. They're not signed anything, but it should go well. Then they're like they've actually, and so we with the management kind of side of things, we don't always necessarily go for like artists. We do go for like DJs or like producers as well. So we've got this producer duo at the moment that we're working with. I'll send you the stuff like off air. And they're like, I'm quite excited to work with them at the moment because I think there's like a really big future for them, and especially when the gigs start opening up and everything, they can actually go out and do stuff. Like I'm really excited for them, just as well because we've not really done anything like this for a while. It almost is like going back to the roots of doing like DJ sets, and I'm getting a little bit excited for that. Probably because I've not been out in about a year and a half, but that is quite exciting for us because it is quite new. It's not just like working with an artist or sending out emails or trying to get them studio time or anything like that. This is just like good old fashioned producer loves to go out and like perform as a DJ. Like, yeah, great. That's well easy to do, but it's really fun. And like I said, because I haven't done it for a while, I'm really looking forward to that personally.
Yeah, no, sounds like you guys have got some really exciting things coming in the pipeline. It's a shame, I guess, the music industry has been really hit by Corona. Obviously, you don't even think about those things that people, you only think about necessarily, or I have for the most part, only thought about big artists and their ability to not be able to perform and go on tour. But you don't think about maybe the smaller artists who really heavily rely on being able to gig and go from place to place. So yeah, I'm sure it'll be very interesting for the music scene, or very exciting, shall I say, when they can start getting back to it as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think that is quite an underrated part of being a performer. Is like, an artist is performing, just for like building fans. Even if you're doing it like locally, 100 local fans is definitely more beneficial than 50 that are all scattered across the world. If you can get like a good local sort of base built up at the start, you do miss that when when you can't perform, you need to go out and like perform. It's hard to just like plug yourself and when you're not really doing anything else.
Yeah, no, I get that. Well, yeah, fingers crossed we can all go back to it soon. So yeah,
or go back to touring.
Well, that's what. Hopefully, they're saying they're doing festivals in the summer.
Yeah, I've seen
Demi, are you touring?
I'm not touring. I'm saying that people who are artists can go back to touring. Nah, not me touring, not me personally. If I was touring, you know about it. You know you'd be on the tour bus with me.
For sure.
Facts. So yeah, no, that's threw me off. But yeah, hopefully people can go back to touring and gigging soon. So yeah, next topic for today. Wanted to discuss the Grammys, which I believe happened last weekend or just the other week gone. I think again the Grammys just keep doing everything they can to lose their legitimacy with me, man. Because again, it seems like a few mistakes were made. I don't know. It's just. Do we need? I guess my first question is: do we need to stop giving these award shows the clout that they have and the hold that they have because they're just so prestigious?
I'm conflicted on this because I do get it, and I get like it's so weirdly subjective, isn't it? To make it like how can you really quantify what song is better than the other song unless you do purely put it down to like this song sold more than this song, and then in that case, then it's like. Adele's better than Purple Black Prince. It's kind of doesn't make sense. But again, like they're not a bad artist. It's just different, isn't it? So you can't really compare it. But on the flip side of it, I do love the Grammys, and I do love. I do kind of like the prestigiousness of it, and I do like the. Maybe it's because I secretly just want to win one for like engineering or something, and that's what's keeping me going. But yeah, I do get it, and there have been in the past as well. There have been some like absolute. Just awful decisions and way like okay that probably should have gone to like that artist, but I think I don't know. I like the Grammys, but I can see why people don't like them.
It's because for artists, there's the incentive that they get the your fee essentially goes up. So if you ask somebody if somebody asks you, hi, could you engineer this project for me? In the subject line you can put, Harley, Grammy Award producer, engineering, engineer. So I understand why, people put so much credence behind it. But which ones did you not feel like you agreed with, Demi? Which ones were you like, oh, that's...
I don't know. I mean, I'm still pretty hung up on The Weeknd not being nominated at all. I just feel like after that decision, the year had been, I think it was done for me. And personally, I actually did feel like Dua Lipa should have won. I think it was Album of the Year.
Did she not win any at all? Wow.
Not anything. I think she won 2, but it was in like smaller categories. Obviously, a win's a win.
It's a
dub.
It's a dub.
That's a W. But I don't know. Obviously, Taylor Swift is their darling, so I think she took home Album of the Year. But like, I think for something to win Album of the Year, it needs to be in people's consciousness as well. And this is normally when they give Taylor Swift stuff, I get it because the girls everywhere. These last two, Evermore and Folklore, I was like, I have not heard these make a wave anywhere. And I don't know if that's just because it didn't have radio friendly hits or she wasn't trying to put out radio friendly stuff. But this was one of the first times I was like, this didn't really make the noise that it would have made. I was pleased with the awards that certain people got. It was nice to see Megan Thee Stallion get the credit for, and I think the perfect round off to what has been a fantastic year for her. Obviously, Beyonce is now the most awarded vocal winner. And then obviously, it's just funny that Blue Ivy's like 8 years old and fucking has a Grammy. Typical.
Doesn't she have 2?
Who you know? Who you know?
It is who you know. And when your mum's Beyonce, what the fuck are you going to do? Obviously, you're going to collect them Grammys. I don't think she got 2. I think she just got the one for Brown Skin Girl being on that song. But okay, and to be fair, there was some really nice W's and nice occasions.
I think Pop Smoke deserved the one though. I think Pop Smoke.
Yeah,
There was
100%.
it Best New Artist, or I'm not sure which one it was actually. It might have not been Best New
It
Artist.
was just Dior that was nominated.
But I think Dior it deserved to win because I mean, in rap in general, it was a bit of a drier year compared to others, and I feel like obviously he died, rest in peace. I still feel like there was a very big impact from that record. So I do think that was a snub in my eyes.
I think they got Best Rap Album wrong, and I'm not mad at it. I mean,
it's a legacy thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it was nuts to me that was Nas's first one, and you know, I think you could even argue he's out better work, but you know, that's his first Grammy, so it was a legacy thing. But Freddie should have won. We know how we feel about that.
Sure,
here.
100%.
That was a no-brainer to me, and then I can't remember what it was, but like, even I'm not even rocking with them that much. I'll tell a lie, but I do like those boys, BTS, and I appreciate what they've done for their scene and what they do. So I thought they deserve some recognition. Put some respect on their name.
Shouts out to the army once again.
That's
then again,
BTS.
Them boys crazy.
But then again, do you feel like Burna Boy should have got a Grammy for this album?
No, not at all. They just knew that they messed up last year. Not that they messed up because Anti that won it last year, it was fine, but like,
I'm happy he won it purely on the basis of his artistry. I'm glad he's won it because he's got it out the way, because I feel like he was very disheartened he didn't win it last time round, and that album's a classic. So I feel like now he's got that out the way, he can go back to making better music, because I don't feel like that album was it. And I feel like he was chasing a Grammy rather than actually putting out his best music. So I'm glad he's got that out the way personally, because you can see how much it meant to him even when he did his acceptance speech. So shouts out to him.
But then again, I feel like with the Grammys, I mean, they have a panel that they nominate for, you know, each category, and they have like all the statistics. They have everything that is compiled together to make an actual decision whether they like the album, whether the album has just been streamed too many times. So when it comes to the hip hop thing, I mean, they ask people from the community in terms of the industry. When I say the community, I mean the industry itself. They ask them to come and show up, but some people feel like they don't want to show up because they're boycotting the Grammys. And then when things like this happen, it's like, I mean, well, if you just participated in the very beginning,
they could have got this.
You probably wouldn't have. You could have got it right. And then if you keep doing it year after year after year, then you would have situations where Pop Smoke could have won. You would have had situations where Nas's album was great, but Freddie Gibbs' Alfredo was like even better.
Yeah, I hear that. That's why I'm not that mad at Best Rap Album. Like, to be fair, it's like what Colin said. It's a legacy one, you know. Hold this, you know. You're one of the greatest rappers of all time. You deserve this. So that's basically what it was. I mean, I just feel like some mistakes were made. I don't think the weekend thing is unforgivable to the point that he's now saying he never wants his music given to the Grammys, which is a huge loss for them, because how do you get to this point that, you know, one of the biggest artists in the world is now saying I don't want my music submitted to them? That's an L to them, because he's gonna only put out great and better music.
He's got a few Grammys already, I think. Am I right?
Yeah, I think so. But this was meant to be his year, man.
Yeah, I think he would have won. I do think he would have won Record of the Year if he'd entered there.
100%,
absolutely.
Just like the whole album, like back to front, just went in. It was good. It was just such a good album. However, I did really like Folklore personally, and
Harley's been in the corner like,
listen,
I'm gonna get at him.
I'm gonna fight for it. I love really well produced like pop music. All my mates love me for this. Like, I like girly pop music, love it. Like, I don't even care. I'll fight this corner to the death. Like, Folklore, I think, was so good. Really like Taylor, I think, in terms of well, musically, yeah, well, it's pretty basic if you want to get down to like the ins and outs of it. But just as like a product of pure pop music, she is always like killing it. I think I think it was actually a good album. I was on another podcast like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and again I was talking about the album, saying I feel like I have to defend myself for saying it because people always give you a look when you say, "John, I really like Taylor Swift," but
no, I'm not hating.
She does put together like a really like well-produced pop music, and it does work for me. And I think personally, I think it was better than G1 in terms of how it sounded. And but again, it's all subjective, isn't it? But I just I think I'm glad it won Record of the Year.
Nah, I hear that. And do you know what? T Swizzle, she's normally good in my books. She just didn't make a sound with these albums. Like she'll always sell well. So you already know she's always gonna do like close to 1 million first week. Even if she doesn't go on, yeah.
No, I was gonna say, I think if you go back to like the panel of like of the people that are voting, it is generally, to meet the criteria, it's generally older people anyway. So I'm always to the fact that Taylor Swift win. It is people's kids making those decisions, and like that's what they hear all the time. But like you said, like she has loads of fans, and most of them are going to be teenage girls. Generally speaking, and the Grammy, do you know what I mean? Like the people who are voting on the Grammys, a lot of people, they're probably hearing that all the time, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I've heard that. That's Record of the Year." That's the only reason I think Macklemore won over Kendrick Lamar, because someone's kids has been like playing thrift shop non-stop. And like, you know what I mean?
That's a fact.
That's the album for the year, you know, because they ain't heard swimming, or they ain't heard like swimming pools, or
that's a fact.
Don't Kill My Vibe. They've just heard
thrift shop was everywhere.
Yeah,
you could not escape thrift shop. Yeah, that's a fact.
Do you know what? That decision was crazy and still is to me. But I've seen like certain think pieces on it that make it make sense. But it just, not that it can to me, but
from the wise words of Emmanuel Jabogwe, I'm hearing it, but I'm not hearing it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Debbie.
The only argument was, I guess the argument was that that album that Macklemore put out was inescapable. Like, you know them songs. What's that one? Can't hold you down or whatever. I can't remember, but I know
Can't hold us. Yeah.
At uni,
that was a decent song. Yeah,
I'm not hating.
You made good music. I'm not gonna be mad.
Yeah, I actually think we released a remix of that on SoundCloud back in the day. That's how like big it was. We did a remix of We Could Drop It set. So it's been about.
It's a big song.
It's a very big song.
I guess what you just want going forward is that, you know, these prestigious awards, they make the right decisions, and sometimes they will get it wrong. You know, they definitely will get it wrong at some points, but hopefully they get it right more than they get it wrong, because this is people's careers in the balance, and people are fans of these people. You just want to see them get the right decision.
Yeah, for sure. Also, honorary mention to Kate Renada. Winning
the boy got 2, didn't he?
He got 2,
yeah.
Thundercat one as well, which is quite a Thundercat one, which is quite big.
That's great.
I was quite happy for them to win, because I think they do deserve it.
100%. 100%.
You know what? To be fair, that's really interesting, because Cardi put out a good point. That girl be talking a lot of rubbish, but when she does say something good, she says something good. And it was the fact that, all right, we're all screaming about, The Weeknd didn't get nominated, but there's a lot of smaller, I don't want to say smaller acts, but acts that might not get the recognition that have been nominated this year and won this year, that we wanted to get recognition for years. Like, to the fact that Kate Renada has 2, that's insane to me, because he's been there since uni and he wasn't particularly that big back then. But it's always nice to see people's growth and progression.
100%. Demi, did you see Dua's performance?
I caught a glimpse of it. What are you saying?
No, just ask him.
Oh, okay.
I saw it was making some movements on the internet. People were very happy with her performance. So I was wondering if you're one of them.
I'm a fan, man. I stay up to date.
Listen, them shit's aight. I ain't gonna hold you.
Make your waist like Dua Lipa. I hear it. And if she were onto something, what's it? Cardi and Meg's performance. I love you, Cardi, but that shit was hilarious. There was a point that looked like they were doing up WWE, and I was just like, nah.
It's like a robot.
Yeah, it was very.
Nah, it was an interesting. I don't know, if I'd been on her team, I might have said you might want to go back to the drawing board on that one. But either way, it's a good night. and obviously there are lots of laughs and stuff like that. But again, it goes back to the point of what we were saying earlier. We just want them to make the right decision. So Grammys will be watching closely. Hopefully, you know, when people are back out again as well, we'll see how that impacts the Grammys and their decisions. And a big album is coming their way with CLB, so we'll see how they react to that next year. Speaking of Certified Lover Boy and all things Drake, he went 1, 2, 3 on the Billboard Hot 100 with What's Next, Wants and Needs, and Lemon Pepper Freestyle. To be honest, I'm shocked at how well Lemon Pepper tried, because that's a 6-minute song of him just ranting, basically. But all the that is his dominance is just out of this world. Because I will even say in his catalog, these aren't even close to top tier songs.
At this point, Drake is McDonald's, and anything he says will just.
I have a hot take for that song, Lemon Pepper Freestyle. I have a hot take. I think that song was made to slander Pusha T.
The whole thing.
Yeah, I think it was done because we've never really heard Drake talk this luxurious talk. Do you get what I'm saying? Like sometimes it's like, yeah, I've done this. I go to the like he's talking small stuff, but he's never said luxurious talk like this ever. And then to put Rick Ross in the beginning, like I think this was just to say that Pusha T, I'm actually better than you in every single way you could possibly think. I think that was the main purpose of the song.
Thing is, you know what? You can't talk to Pusha T because I just don't feel like he'd be bothered by this. I know what you're saying, and sometimes he's trying to stunt, but Pusha's not going to care. He put him in a casket, so as far as he's concerned, his work here is done. Pusha's undefeated.
Pressure on it, didn't it? It's nothing. Like,
definitely.
How do you come back from that? I don't know how you come back from that. It's like in the group chat when you sort of do like a joke and then your boy absolutely rinses you afterwards. It's like not reply, leave it on red because there's nothing else you can do.
You gotta hold it.
You gotta hold it. But he is a juggernaut. Like he cannot be stopped at this point. It's like insane.
MJ levels. It just insane.
It's stuff that we haven't seen before. 100%.
But then also, I think maybe the reason why he's been like that EP that he put out, Scary Hours 2. I think the reason why it's been successful is because everyone's back inside again.
Maybe like
everyone's
people are
back
just
inside
clamoring
again,
for new music,
and people they want to hear something where it's like they want to go outside, but at the same time, because there was the other 2 songs. There was the Lemon Pepper Freestyle, and then there was the one with Lil Baby. Those 2 songs, you could pretty much listen to them when you're inside the house. But then also the first track and then Lil Baby, I forgot the names of the songs, but the first track and Lil Baby song, you can listen to them when you're in the club as well. The only song that you can't listen to when you're in the club is Lemon Pepper Freestyle. But the way like it's done, 3 songs, 3 tracks, you could listen to them when you're outside, but you could definitely listen to them when you're inside. And I think it's 3 tracks. You can listen to them over and over again. Now they've sold 970,000 units collectively.
It's insane.
And then also they're the top 3, 1, 2, 3. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's just like people want to go outside, but Drake is producing songs where you can listen to outside or inside, and that's what
that's always been.
That's
at his peak. But that's what he's always been good at. Like he's always really adapted. I think that's why he's been on top for the last. It's 10 years. And I don't see anyone taking his place now. Like it's solidified. The boy could say the word "the" at this point on a track, and that's it. It's going number 1 just because he did that. If he done that pooply scoop that Kanye did, we'd be looking at a top 10 single. It's insane. Just so. He's solidified in my opinion. I think a moment like this does that as well. I've never seen anything like that. I'm actually thinking his whole album could take up the top 10 when it comes out. Like if he can do this with an EP.
I think Views did that though, didn't it as well? I think there was quite a few views.
Yeah. And I want to say Scorpion even did a little set. Like 7 out of the top 10 was songs from Scorpion.
It's ridiculous, man.
Yeah, nah,
It's ridiculous.
his power is insane. I don't know what the album's gonna look like, but
I guess you can attribute it. You can kind of attribute it a bit to like, you know, a bit of a drought as well. There's not many big hitters dropping music right now, so in essence, it's almost a free run. There's songs that have been on the top 10 that have been there for. I mean, what Blinding Lights has been there for how long? A year. So I think it was perfect timing as well. On top of everything, because
they
there's nobody
to get
really...
that driver's license song out of here.
Yeah, to this day, I've not heard it, but it's been number one for how long?
I can't escape that song because they play it when we're working from home. They play the radio, and that song always comes on. I'm like, it's aight, but what the fuck is this doing at number one for 8 weeks?
Crazy.
I don't know, man. She's got Disney in her corner, so that explains it. But nah. But you know, again, credit to Drake. We're fans of his work, so more power to him. Interested to see what the album has in store as well. I don't think the thing I'm interested in is I don't feel like Scary Hours gave an indication into what sort of sound he's going to give as well. So I'm interested to see what happens going forward. All right.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think he does, like, because what he's released over the is like its high catalog. It's so eclectic. It could literally be anything.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So we'll have to wait and see. I'm very excited. Can someone remind me of the fourth topic?
It
Kanye's
is.
net worth?
Yes, Kanye's net worth.
Insane.
I'm skeptical.
I don't know if I believe it. That's my. I think it's a bit like, you know, like Donald Trump had that famous quote. It's like, my net worth is however I feel on that day. I feel like that's what Kanye does. It's like one day I'm in debt, and then the next day, oh, I'm worth $6.6 billion.
Surely you can't inflate those numbers.
That's a lot. Well, who's verified this? Where's it coming from? Because, for example, Dr. J, we know he's a billionaire because he literally did a big, massive deal with Apple Music.
Mm.
We know he's made $1 billion. Same with Diddy. He's had loads of. You could sort of, yeah, okay, and that's all like, and Jay-Z as well. They were like near 1 billion. I don't know how Kanye would be 6 times, maybe 7 times more than that, without any like the Yeezys ain't popping off that much. You know what I mean? There's not that big.
It has to be. That's the only thing I can attribute to it. Really, it has to be the Yeezys and his collaboration with Adidas.
The last job wasn't for ages anyway. I feel like it's not true. I just feel like maybe that's just the pessimist in me. But I feel like he's being Kanye. He's going through a divorce. He's like, oh, my wife just left me. I'm going to tell everyone I'm worth $7 billion. That's it. Just make myself feel better.
Models are going to act different after finding that out. That's for sure.
In terms of him being worth $6 billion, and then the next day he's worth 1.8. Like, I thought that was trash. Whoever was doing that, taking him
you can't make it up.
Like, that's a piss take. Can you imagine? Like, I don't think he's worth 6.6 billion already. I think. But then again, during this COVID time, several millionaires, billionaires have exponentially grown their their net worth by a tremendous amount. So him being worth by 6.6 billion, I could see it, but not right now. Not right now. Him being worth maybe 3 billion, yeah, maybe.
I could believe that.
Not 6.6 billion. I mean, the Yeezys itself has done. I mean, his collaboration with Adidas brand is done in a stupendous amount of money in terms of sales and also hype culture as well. Like the sneaker hype itself, it's done a lot because every time they do, well, majority of the products that release, not so much now, but majority of the products that release, I would say 90% of them sold out immediately whenever there's a collaboration. So in terms of getting the profits straight away, I mean, they're doing very well, Adidas and both Yeezy brand. Him now collaborating with Gap as well for the clothing. Him trying to make some cheap clothing already. I think the 6.6 is a projection of what he could possibly be worth, not currently at the moment. But I'll say 3.2. 3.2 is probably worth that right now. But to then turn around and say that he's worth 6.6 billion in the midst of his divorce,
it's too much of a jump.
Whoever did that, I think they just wanted the Kardashian clan, the Kardashian Jenner clan, just to go crazy and say, "Listen, we're going to take half of that."
It's too much of a jump from that article that came out last year, the Forbes article, because I read that article and I think that the figures make sense because the majority of his worth comes from, let's say if he was to sell his Yeezy brand as a whole, he would get the vast majority of his 1.3 billion would have come from that, and that makes perfect sense. But I think for your brand, in order for it to grow, an extra 5 billion in 12 months is it's not. But
to be fair, but he was saying he thinks it's estimated as being higher, that his net worth. But then he's got to be out of debt then by now. Like I don't know how.
He's not in debt. He might have debt. I think people have a wrong conception of the word debt. He might have debt because you can have debt and not be in debt, if that makes sense. You can have a portion of your money that's funded by like loans and for example, that's what happened to him. But you can still have a multi-million-dollar business making loads of money on the side. So he's not in debt anymore. I doubt he would be. But you can still hold. You can still hold debt, if that makes sense.
So Collins, you're saying pretty much a net worth can't really grow in such an exponential amount within a certain amount of time. So from 1.3 billion to 6 billion within 2 years, it can't really happen.
I think it's quite unrealistic. Especially
that conversation we had.
Money.
Yeah.
So that conversation we had about that certain company, yeah.
That situation is slightly different because of what he's selling. So if you take like Elon Musk and like Tesla and what they're doing, it's slightly different because that's like you're selling cars and the markup is, it's ludicrous. Whereas the shoes and like fashion, I think it's harder for it to grow that much in a small period of time.
Yeah,
the Gap deal helps. I think the Gap deal can easily be another bill if I'm keeping it a buck. Yeah. But I don't see it being an extra like 4 or 5 billion. That doesn't make sense to me personally.
We'll have to wait and see. It's interesting. To go from 1 billion to 6.6 in 12 months, especially in the industry that he's trying to do that in, I'm not buying it. I guess if you're comparing it to Elon, what Elon sells and what Elon's involved in, if that has a really good year, that could really change his projection. Whereas I don't see what Kanye sells or pushes as being something that can go from, being taking something from 1.1 billion to 6.6. I just don't see that industry being able to do that, no matter how good a year they have, really. In the space of 12 months as well, nah.
Yeah, I think Elon's wealth, isn't it? It's based on the price of Tesla, isn't it? You can like see the increase in that. Whereas Kanye is not a company. There's no like Kanye Incorporated that's publicly traded where people can buy it and make him worth that much. It's kind of like, I think it would be hard unless it's getting like multi-billion-dollar deals on like 2 or 3 different places that we don't know about. Then
I'm just watching Tesla
very closely. The difference between is like mad.
Yeah, I'm just watching Tesla very, very closely. But that whole whoever did that is you just wanted to be messy. Like you can't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like you tell everybody, you see that guy over there, fam, he's worth the bag, and then tomorrow he ain't worth nothing. Like don't do that. You can't.
I know Kanye's in the house screaming, jumping on sofas like Tom Cruise.
No, but he has his accountants, he has his financial advisors, solicitors, attorneys, so on and so forth, that can actually confirm with him, like, what is the actual valuation.
Who brought that out? Was it Forbes themselves?
I don't know who did that.
It was another publication, and then Forbes debunked it. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure who
I
put it
know
out
Forbes do their research. When they tried to take that shit away from Kylie, it was painful. Kylie woke up and she weren't a billionaire. Paul said that family been lying. But
Mm.
we'll see. All right. So final topic for today. Disney Marvel has released their latest TV show, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which will be keeping us entertained for the next, I believe, 5 weeks. The first episode came out yesterday, so I understand if you guys haven't had enough time to watch it, but I was impressed with what I saw, I must say.
I've just finished watching WandaVision, so I've definitely not seen the Winter Soldier yet. But I'm planning on watching it today. It does look good, but usually I like to wait until they all come out and then I can watch it in a big block.
Smart, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't. You know, I do kind of wish I did that with WandaVision. I think the
I'd
more I
do
sit,
that with WandaVision. The first 3 episodes, I was like, what the hell is going on here?
exactly, yeah.
I watched it, I was like, just stick with it.
Oh, see, the thing is with
that.
Yeah, week on week. You know, the more I'm sat here with WandaVision, the more I get disappointed. I'm like, there was such a missed opportunity, man. Like, yeah. But what, Eman? What are you saying?
You're entitled to your own opinion, innit?
Again, I'm gonna make it clear. It was a good show. I just feel disappointed with some of the stuff that happened. But I digress. So, Cole, I'm assuming you've watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
I watched it yesterday. Without giving away any spoilers, I agree. I thought it was good. I thought it's quite personal. They take it. It's quite a slower episode, but they're fleshing out the characters in ways we haven't seen before. And I feel like it'll be interesting to see if Disney tackles some of the issues that would come with Sam trying to become Captain America. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, because it will tie into so many issues that America already have. So I'm curious to see if Disney will actually go there. Do you know what I'm saying? So
I hear that.
I'm happy so far, though. That was a really good episode.
It was, and I think it was a perfect balance of action and story. So obviously, you've all got a really good action scene to look forward to at the start of the episode. But the stories that they tried to tell, and I like this sort of stuff because it's Marvel on the ground. It's like these people are still people at the end of the day. There's shit they want to do. There's stuff they need to get done, which makes for really interesting TV. Like I'm really pleased that Marvel didn't just ignore the fact that the blip happened and they're answering questions. You know, if that did happen, if half the population went away and then came back, you know, there'd be shit that would really be impacted. So it's interesting to see how people have dealt with that emotionally, how that's affected business. So yeah, I'm interested to see the direction they go in with this. I think this could be one of the best things they've done, if pulled off right.
Yeah, I think I quite like they touched upon that. Like, again, I can't talk about WandaVision, is what I've seen, but they kind of like briefly touched on that there, and I did quite like that. Like, oh, it's not just this happened and now everyone's back and it's just normal. It's like they actually show people like panicking and all of that. So I thought that's quite like a good idea to at least take, especially for the stuff that is in like movies. Like you can't sit in a 2.5 hour movie and expect to see all the tiny little details. Where with the TV shows, I think it's quite a good idea that they can take it a bit slower. They can show you bits that you just wouldn't be bothered to see that they get cut from the movie.
Yeah, 100%.
It's just nice to see these, I don't want to say smaller characters, but these characters who have been in more side roles in the films actually get their stories fleshed out.
Yeah.
And obviously, I think I'm happy for Anthony Mackie actually, because I think he's been a really good actor and he's been around
100%.
for years. Going back to 8.
Yeah.
He's a good guy. Going back to 8 Mile, he's been around, and I feel like this could be his. I don't want to say it could be his break, but you know, everyone needs that like one thing that really propels them. I think this could be that thing that does that for him. I think a lot of people are about to fall in love with him as a person and just really enjoy the work that he's putting out. So yeah, I'm happy about that as well. But again,
I think it's cool because I think that again, like what you touched upon earlier as well, like introducing him this way, because I think they did kind of hint at the last Avengers, didn't they, that he might become the next Captain America. So I think if you like ease him into that, because like comic book fans are a bit weird / racist anyway. So I feel like if you just suddenly come to America, for the normal average, but you know, they'll get like loads of backlash if suddenly they just made Captain America black, and they're like, oh, social PC culture, all of that rubbish. Whereas like, if at least with this, people who would have that response could be like eased into it, and then it's not such a big shock to them. Like, I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think that's an absolutely awful reason to not like a character, but I feel like
it does
people
happen.
are going to have that. Like, it happens.
Yeah.
It? I think they made a big thing about it when in the Fantastic Four when the Human Torch was black.
Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, they made Michael B. Jordan. Yeah, they made a big thing about that, and I was like, the guy can literally turn himself on fire, and you're worried about his skin. Like, why does that bit need to make sense to you? Like, what's going on?
Oh,
that's hilarious.
That's a fact. Yeah, no. These guys be worrying about the wrong things, but
literally, like too much time on your hands, like.
Real talk.
For real. This is what people want to be annoyed. Speaking of too much time on our hands, just I guess before we close and go on to the music section, Justice League. What were you saying? We're watching it 4 hours. Yeah,
too much.
Bro,
man, like Zach.
The first one didn't draw me, and I'm not doing it.
I've heard the reviews, innit? I've heard the reviews, and they've all said that they've all said that pretty much it's a complete body of work. It's not chopped up, like it's not funny here, like fake satire here. Like it's a complete body of work. So when you see it start to finish, it's proper. I think what they should have done was just do a part 1, part 2.
Yeah, man. 4 hours is too long, bro.
Yeah, 4 hours is way too long. But a part 1 and a part 2, I think, would have at least. It just would have just given.
But you know what? That was always the plan. It was meant to be 2 films. It was meant to be Justice League Part 1 and Justice League Part 2. God knows what Joss Whedon was on when he was trying to put that film together. That film is bad. But I'm interested to see what was actually Zack Snyder's vision. And people are enjoying it. The thing I'm really interested in is obviously Batman v Superman wasn't good, but people are really enjoying this. So I think it's a possibility that he's learned from his mistakes and he's going to give a better body of work, basically. And it'll be nice to see his vision all in one place, nicely wrapped up, even if it is 4 hours long. And the aspect ratio is going to piss me off because it looks like it was filmed in the 90s. I don't get it. But again, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll discuss it in a month when we've actually watched it, because I don't even know how I'm going to find the time to watch this movie, bro.
You know what? I'll watch it. I'll watch it tonight, man.
I'll try to get it in today. I'm not doing anything. I'm going to go for my one legal allowed walk, and then I'll go from there and see what's up.
Wow.
Fam, you have to get that walk in, man. All right. So to end the show, obviously, boys, give us your music selection for this week.
Cool. I don't even know what mine is. Damn.
Go
on.
My choice is from a Brighton rapper by the name of RD. I came across this song on Graham Daily. Sometimes I just click on something. I'll be, because you can't find music that way, and I was really impressed. If he gets the right team behind him, could be looking at another industry plant, because he kind of reminds me of H. I don't want to compare that because they kind of look alike, but the song is good. 6 a.m. in Brighton. It's a good freestyle. Check out the video as well on Graham Daily. It's approaching nearly 500k views, and I'd imagine it'll touch 1 million probably by the end of the month. So I'm happy to be able to say I was one of the first that got in there as well. So yeah, it looks like he could be on to big things. So RD 6 a.m. in Brighton.
Cool, great. I'll add that. Mine is called Monogram by One Ace and a guy called Wave, I think. The song's hard. That's all I got to say. The song is hard.
My song is from Coming to America.
Say a word.
Mothers.
You watched the film?
Yeah, I've watched the film.
Oh,
I didn't think it was that bad, personally.
I thought it was alright. It's just like
it's a bit corny.
Movie, isn't it?
It had its
expect?
moments, but it was alright. It was alright, man.
If you came with the film, if you came to watch the film knowing it's gonna be corny, then you had a good time. But
That's a fact.
Came with a high expectation, then.
I didn't really like one. I've never really liked one. I always thought it was a bit weird anyway. So I was in no rush to watch two. But
see what I'm saying, Collins. You see what I'm saying? People were born in '95.
It was a horrible. It was like an African accent. It just weren't good, man. But that was me. That was me. Maybe it's because I was born in 1995.
I'm an Eddie Murphy fanboy. I love it. It might be. Everybody
else loves it, bro.
What was your first Eddie Murphy film?
First Eddie Murphy film? That's a good question. Fuck. Probably Nutty Professor or
you still didn't find it funny?
Dr. Dolittle. I don't know, man.
Go on, Eman. What's the song?
Techno Waka Waka. Yeah.
Okay.
Song's vibes. Yeah.
I'm thinking of Shakira. Go on, Harley. What's your choice?
I will do "Love Your Life" by Maron T.
Perfect. All right.
Oh no! Hold on. Can I change the song?
You know you can.
What's this?
Imagine if I've been like, no.
Techno, yeah. Listen, that song actually bangs. Just actual vibes here. But I was listening to this song this morning, and it's Big Sean, Kanye West, Marvin Gaye, Chardonnay. That song brought me memories. Even though that song's old, but it's a good song, so I'll put that instead.
Sometimes you have to throw it back. I respect that. Oh God, you got me there. All right, so Made in Chafford podcast episode 79. Another one in the books. Harley, thank you for inviting us. Thank you for thank you for coming on the pod. Thank you for coming on the pod.
I appreciate
it. Can you tell the people where they can find you online?
Yeah, sure. You can find anything to do with Abstract Recordings. It's literally at Abstract Recordings on everything except Twitter, but we don't really use Twitter anyway. So on Twitter, it's like Abstract Recordings _. So find us there. Keep in touch. We're all very active on it, and if you want to hear some good music coming out, that's the place to find.
Yeah, that's the place to go, people. Another one in the books. Until next time, take care.
Peace.